What is going on, guys? Mitokano here, and today I'm going to share with you guys 5 tips on how to become a better automotive videographer. Now, jumping right into it, the first tip that I have to tell you guys is you have to make a shot list. You have to make a production plan. It helps move things a lot quicker. You have an understanding of what it is that you want. You have an understanding of what it is that the shots that you would need. It's one of those things that if you plan for it, you become prepared. There's less things that will really hinder you along the way because you know exactly what you want. Now, when you create your shot list or your storyboard, you could go old school and print out, those grids and then just draw some of the things that you want and outline what it is that you're looking for. Or another way to do it is do frame grabs from other films that you want to take inspiration from. And that really, again, helps you with your vision. So having a production plan is really important with utilizing the limited time that you have, because sometimes it really isn't possible to do pickup shoots. So it's so important to really utilize your limited time, and making a shot list and storyboard really helps minimize the possibility of needing to do that. Now, the second tip that I have is capturing the audio of your car, the subject. I see this all the time with other creatives, and usually you just see a car and then some B-roll and some audio of a rap song or electro music in the background. And to be completely honest, that's not really very compelling, because overall what tends to happen is there's not enough layers in your video. You have to add the audio to show the visceral nature of the kind of car that you're shooting, the subject. And audio is just one of those things that tends to get looked over, or something that's really left out and missed out on. The best way to really get some audio is, sometimes you have to tape things up to the car. You have to put lavs inside the engine bay to hear some of that intake noise, and again, the mechanical noise. Sometimes you have to put also another lav mic into the exhaust, because again, that helps with adding layers to your video. It's not just seeing a cool car doing a rolling shot. And audio is one of those things that's so important to really telling a story. So it's really not just about getting a cool shot, it's about adding layers to that shot to make it worthwhile for people to rewatch over and over again, right? So maybe if you're in an event, capture the audience or capture the nat sound. If you're in a drag strip, or if you're in a racetrack, grab some of those audio of cars flying by. I think that really ends up adding so much more dynamic and complexity into your imagery. Now, the next tip is kind of an extension of the first, and that is to vary your shot. Understand that videography is also a visual storytelling. It's not just about getting the quote-unquote cool shot. It's about being intentional with what you're shooting and how you're framing things. You could always outline certain shots on your shot list. You want this to be a medium, you want this to be a close-up, you want this to be a wide, or in this particular case, you want this to be shot on a gimbal, or you want this to be shot as a drone. Varying your shots, again, keeps things dynamic. It's not just always a slow panning B-roll of a particular car. Sometimes you also have to shoot in handheld. And so, again, just varying your shots helps with really pushing forward the story that you're trying to tell. Remember that the car isn't complete without the interior or the engine. So don't forget to get those shots as well. Those are so important to tell the story of what this particular car is. So varying your shots helps with retaining attention, just having a better complete look for your overall piece. Now, the next tip might be a little bit controversial and people might disagree with this, but I don't think you should always rely on a gimbal. Sometimes handheld is best. There are certain applications where a gimbal is extremely important, and there are other applications where it really is a hindrance. For me, half the time I shoot handheld, I found that for me on my workflow, sometimes lugging around a gimbal isn't necessarily the best thing for me to tell my particular story. And everybody shoots differently. There is no quote-unquote rule book that you have to follow in order to tell your particular piece. There's a kind of a misconception that you always have to have the smoothest shots, And honestly, that's not the case. There is something that is so authentic and very, very creative when it comes to a handheld shot. It really gives off that film look. Sometimes shooting on a tripod is the way to go. And this particular tool can be sometimes underutilized. So don't be afraid to stray away from, putting down a gimbal. I think sometimes that is the best way to do it or to go about a particular shoot. Gimbal is a tool. Just like with any tool, sometimes it won't work for you or it won't work for a particular project. But the last tip is very, very important. And I really want to relay it to you guys because I struggled with it for a very long time. And that is, you shouldn't be afraid to ask for the shot. Now, what do I mean by that? When I first started out, I was always shy about asking for the type of shots that I want. I always thought that it would be an inconvenience for the client or for the owner of the car, for me to ask them, hey, can you open up the hood? Or could you open up the interior for me? Or can we do another flyby? Can we do another rolling shot? And you have to understand that you have to speak up. You have to voice out what you need, because at the end of the day, people are paying you for your vision. And then it's your responsibility to make sure that you get the shots that you need in order to complete the piece. When you're starting out, of course, that's always something that will be kind of in the back of your mind. I think overall, as you progress more into this career, as you do it more often, and with more experience, you become more and more accustomed to it, and you become a better communicator with whoever you're working with. But don't be afraid to ask for the shot. It's so important for you as a creative to be able to tell your voice, your story. And you don't want to go home and when you look at all the footage and you realize, man, I could have really gotten that cool shot, or I should have gotten one more take of that. So that's pretty much it, guys, for all the tips that I have. There are many, many other tips out there, but of course, these are, I think, the most important ones that you should really, seed into your creative foundation. Comment down below what you guys think. Make sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps me out and lets me know that you guys want to see more. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.